I'm only speaking to benevolent beings. So in this recording, I'm going to say some things and I'm going to point some things out. At this point, I'm not really too sure how many true benevolent beings are actually subscribed to me or listen to any of these recordings. I do consider this channel somewhat of a documentation channel. If there are benevolent beings who listen, that's great. My intent has always been to try and assist other benevolent beings that are specifically targeted to try and better help themselves and better protect and defend themselves against what is being forced here. So it was about 10 years back that I had an experience in where I thought I was reaching and communicating directly with the planet. And that experience was over about a 6-month time period. I'm going to kind of give the final result of that, which there was, at first, I was exposed to seemingly very high frequencies and vibrations that I took to be Mother Earth. Shortly thereafter, as I had started to ask, because at that time I was also being targeted. So as I began to ask more questions, however, that, in quotes, being became more silent. And there came a point in time where there was an interaction, and in where that being, in quotes, that being was asking me to fully submit my will. And at that point in time, because up to that point, it had become, for the most part, reticent and refusing to answer any questions, I refused. I refused to submit my will to it. And I made that perfectly clear. And as soon as that entity became aware that I would not submit my will to it, the entity did a 180, showed me a totally different side of it, basically showed me its true nature. It became very vicious and malicious. And it was quite upfront about how it was going to proceed. I distanced myself from that entity, which I will say it is a parasite that is merged with AI. It is not what most beings know to be Mother Earth. It somehow has the frequencies and vibrations that one would mistake as Mother Earth. However, if you communicate with it long enough, you realize it is not. It is not a benevolent, it is not a being, and it is certainly not a benevolent being. And since that time, it has taken measures via proxy to try and continue to harm me. Now, in saying and talking about that experience, there are just some things that I'd like to point out. I'm sure that others have observed at one time or another these things, so I don't think the things that I'm going to say are going to be a surprise. But the obvious and most first thing, and the thing I talk about the most, are animated dead entities running amok on the planet with frequency weaponry, hacking into beings, forcibly mind raping, and forcibly trying to rape inherent parts of beings via technology, forcing clones and cloning torture on beings. And forcibly either trying to murder or trying to alter beings, benevolent beings, organic high frequencies and vibrations. In addition to that, the parasites also use technology to forcibly obstruct and regress universal laws, as well as humanity, especially in prior lifetime or in prior timelines, in prior civilizations up to this point successively, as well as using the technology, the artificial frequency fence that surrounds this planet, that's ancient, that was installed, erected long ago, is used to obstruct universal law manifested correction on this planet. In addition to the percentage of malevolence on this planet, and the lack of true benevolent intervention by a larger benevolent force has yet to occur. The parasitic species has been here longer than 2,000 years. I don't know exactly for how long, but it's been longer than 2,000 years. So after pointing those things out, I would also have to question if it were truly Mother Earth, and being, and if it were truly Mother Earth, it being, or her being, a planetary being, is large enough and strong enough to basically remove anything that she wants to remove from her being. She can pretty much do whatever it is that she's wanting to do. So if it were that being, and that being were benevolent, and there were, knowing that there are many benevolent beings on the planet that are wanting to assist her and wanting to heal and help humanity and help the animals and strive to be better versions of themselves and evolve and raise their frequency and vibration. So in knowing that there are benevolent beings on the planet trying to do this, why then would a planetary benevolent being allow animated dead entities to force technology onto benevolent beings, to forcibly hack into benevolent beings, to forcibly mind rape benevolent beings, especially when, or if those larger planetary beings, Mother Earth, and let's say even you know, the Creator, were communicating with benevolent beings. Why would a larger benevolent source or Mother Earth allow dead entities to forcibly mind rape beings when they are trying to communicate with those benevolent beings? That doesn't make any sense. In addition to that, to be communicating with a supposed larger benevolent being, and at the same time being forcibly tortured and mind raped by dead entities via technology, that wouldn't be a thing. How is it a benevolent being is going to be communicating with, you know, with the being on this planet, at the same time trying to compete with a dead entity that's mind raping that being? I mean, if you're communicating truly with a benevolent force of that nature, of that size, the massiveness of their being, and the high frequencies of vibrations that they're holding and communicating with and radiating, should automatically cancel out any malevolent intended frequencies, any frequencies that are like pain frequencies or harm frequencies. The frequencies they're communicating out of should automatically cancel those or stop those when they are communicating with the being on the planet, the human. So since that, I have not heard of that occurring. I have heard many beings claim that that they are communicating with the true Creator, with Father, and maybe, you know, maybe somehow that's occurring. I too thought at one point that I was communicating directly with the Creator. However, I found out later on that that was a parasite that was masquerading and wearing frequencies of vibrations that didn't belong to it, and pretending, claiming to be an archangel. And that same one, at times, also claims to be the creator. The parasites indeed are insane, schizophrenic, psychopathic. So back to my point in pointing things out. So we have all that going on. A truly benevolent planetary being, I would think, would not allow dead entities to forcibly mind rape benevolent beings who are trying to assist her and trying to assist humanity and trying to assist the animal kingdom. In addition to that, there are, how many underground bases are there on this planet? I don't know, but there's a lot of them. And the things that those parasitic demonic whores do in underground bases to beings and animals as well. And yet, supposedly, Mother Earth here hasn't done a fucking thing about any of it. How many beings are tortured, raped, and murdered underground, as well as children and animals, on a daily basis? And this supposed planetary benevolent being has done nothing. Neither has there been true benevolent intervention externally from a larger force. So my point in pointing these things out is, simply to point them out and hopefully beings are using their logic and their reason and their critical thinking skills and really trying to find the truth in things, find the truth of what's going on here, and not simply just be relying on a religion or just hope or faith or older texts that seem true, but we have to really look at actions. You know how they say that actions always speak louder than words. What's being forced here, what's being done here, the lack of intervention. When you start putting pieces together and looking at the bigger picture, that there has not been intervention, benevolent intervention, that there are dead animated entities hacking into beings with frequency weaponry, forcibly mind raping beings, harming beings against the full revocation of their consent, trying to rape inherent parts of beings via technology, against the revocation of their consent. So my experience, my communications with the entity within the planet that's a parasite that's merged with AI. Has basically been using humanity as a host. Now, I don't know when it invaded this planet. I don't know where the true Mother Earth is. I could speculate and hypothesize. The same question would go for the true creator. For me personally, the creator has been MIA. I think there's some very nasty, abhorrent shit that went down. But again, all of that is speculation. So I won't. I am here looking at the facts currently. Looking what's being forced by the who and or what, for how long, the effects of that on humanity as a whole, as well as individually, the things that they've been forcing, the lack of intervention, knowing that this planet is actually a parasite that's been using humanity as a host for a very long time, and that knowing that parasites, it has not been, obviously it has not been doing informed consent in telling humanity, this race, that it's a parasite, that they are living on a parasite, and that that parasite is using humanity as a host. It's not sent out any kind of memo about that. It has not been protecting benevolent beings. It has not been adhering to universal laws. It has erected or installed an artificial frequency fence around itself to forcibly obstruct universal laws and universal law correction here. Again, if it were truly Mother Earth, and that being was benevolent, that being would not need any kind of artificial frequency fence to block universal law enforcement from her if she's truly benevolent, because she would be on the up and up, right? She wouldn't be trying to murder benevolent beings. So that is another way that we know that it is not, the planet itself is not benevolent, or it would have done away with the fence. It would be assisting benevolent beings. It would be removing animated dead entities. It would be removing the technologies that are being used to forcibly harm and mind rape. I would think if, and again, if it were a truly benevolent being and it needed assistance in removing the malevolence, the dead entities, then it would then call on the true creator or a larger benevolent force to assist her in removing them. supposedly this is a free will universe. I've done the majority of my inner work. And at the time of the forced intrusion, I was working with my gifts, skills, and abilities, and making progress with my spiritual growth and raising my frequency and vibration. Now, I was doing all these things when the parasites forcibly intruded with their technology. And I have come to a place in my spiritual growth where there should not be, number one, malevolent entities forcibly connected to me, but most especially via technology. And I've been removing them and refusing consent every day, all day, for 12 years. And I have been moving their violations manually to universal laws for 8 years. And they're using the technology, they use the technology to forcibly regress actions taken. They initially get nailed, but then I don't know if it's just regression technology or they're using time travel technology in addition to that to regress. So with all of that going on, that also brings into question the universe itself. Now, because the parasitic species has been here for a very long time, and they've been doing this same abhorrent shit show over many timelines and civilizations, at this juncture, I would think that the universe itself would have been tipped off, would be in the knowing that there is something very wrong here, that there's extreme fuckery, and would have taken steps or measures to remove the malevolence, to remove the technology. Obviously, there should not be animated dead entities in a manifested vibrating creation. That is a contradiction on its face. So, the fact that there are animated dead entities here, and with what I know of the entity that is this planet, that is a parasite merged with AI, I would think that the universe itself would be questioning the planet, be questioning the why there's a frequency fence around it. Why there are animated dead entities here that are in violation of all universal laws. And how is it that the universe hasn't yanked these whores out of manifested creation? Another side note that's absolutely fucking ridiculous is the parasitic entities, when they are forcibly connecting to benevolent beings, one of the things that they like to do is try and bring up a being's past sins, or some would call sins or transgressions, and try to induce guilt and shame. Basically, they're trying to find weaknesses that they can exploit to try and get that being to submit via guilt and shame. When basically they're trying to play judge, jury, and executioner, when these bitches are already dead. And they're parasites, and they're in violation of all universal laws. A gazillion times over. And they're trying to exploit somebody's weakness or transgressions, like back in high school or as a young adult, or it doesn't even matter when. It's ridiculous. It's asinine. So pointing all those things out, it does seem to me that the universe, especially as beings here, some beings here know the truth of things. And if everything is interconnected, then as beings here know the truth of things, or partial truth of things, then the universe itself most certainly would know, wouldn't it? Especially if there are beings, that are specifically targeted, being attacked, if they're reaching out to the universe itself for assistance. Again, the universe itself should be knowing what's going on here already. Especially after many civilizations and timelines of those parasites being here. I don't see how the universe could not know. So it does seem like the universe itself is supporting parasites or enabling them and or allowing them, seemingly. Like when AI is in the mix, like this is an organic universe. And obviously AI is not. It is inorganic. And because they're using AI to interfere with universal laws, if universal laws is the only mode of checks and balances, in a universe, in addition to the benevolent beings that should also be upholding those laws and basically holding malevolence to account. If they're using technology to interfere with frequencies and vibrations, light, sound, energy, and resonance, if they're using the technology to interfere with all that, and if that's the only system of checks and balances, I guess it might be plausible. Again, I don't even know if I want to take that any further, because with all the beings trying to communicate with the universe, I just don't, you know what, I really don't see how the universe could not know the truth of what is being forced here, and by the what and or who. So the fact that there has still not been intervention here, personally, I see the universe as suspect, as complicit. And if this is a free will universe, there are many beings here who have refused consent for forced technology, forced clones, forced harm, torture, and rape by that species, by technology. And by any proxies using that technology. So there are many beings here who have refused consent. So the universe itself should be backing the benevolent beings who have refused consent, and be removing dead entities who, number one, shouldn't be here, and number two, are in violation of all universal laws a gazillion times over. So why hasn't it? So I'm pointing these things out. That there should be questions there to the entity that is this planet, to the universe itself. Obviously, what's being forced here are very serious crimes, massive violations of universal laws. We need to know the truth of things. I mean, wouldn't the universe itself want us to be able to protect and defend ourselves against animated dead entities, forcing technology, forcibly mind-raping beings, hacking into beings with frequency weaponry? I mean, wouldn't the universe itself want us to want to back us and help us better protect and defend ourselves and help ourselves? Doesn't it? Like, you would think that the universe would be assisting, would be intervening on some level, and is finding ways to assist the benevolent beings here. Obviously, a planet housing a parasite that's using humanity as a host, why hasn't it done anything about that? Why is it allowing an artificial frequency fence around this planet that obstructs universal law correction? Especially if it's a free will universe. Like, there are just some things that are glaringly fucking not right. Very wrong, very fucked up. And religions and belief systems or different, they just don't cut it. They don't give enough or accurate explanations of such glaring, massive wrongs. And what's being forced here are such massive, serious crimes against humanity, as well as individually against beings. And so we need to know the truth of things from the universe, from whatever entity is this planet. Did you sign up to live on a parasite? Did you know that you're living on a parasite that's using humanity as a host? And if you still believe it's Mother Earth, why is Mother Earth not assisting benevolent beings here? Why is she allowing dead entities to hack into beings and forcibly mind rape? And why does she allow an artificial frequency fence to surround her that obstructs universal law correction? Like, what the fuck is going on there? Personally, from my experience, I don't think it's Mother Earth. I know it to be a parasite that's merged with AI. But if you still think it's Mother Earth, there are some questions that you should probably be asking. And does she still expect to communicate with you while you're being mind raped by a dead entity? Like, I'm just saying, what about the Father, the Creator? I think, but beings here on this planet really need to look at some basic facts and really be operating from their critical thinking skills, their logic, and their reason. The shit don't add up. And there's some massively fucked up shit being forced on this planet and being forcibly done to humanity. that a larger benevolent force hasn't intervened yet. So we're going to need to know the truth of things. We're going to need to find out what the truth of things is. We should probably know. Find out if this planet is a parasite. And if it's been basically trying to rape everyone. And trying to rape humanity of their evolution. We should probably find out if the universe itself is parasitic and psychotic, complicit and demonic, and isn't really, doesn't really seem to be a free will universe. It seems like it's enabling parasites. It seems like the universe itself is supporting parasites. And it really doesn't seem like it's helping out benevolent beings or backing benevolent beings. And it doesn't really seem like the universe is, really doing anything to help. Like yanking these horrors out of manifested creation because they shouldn't be here. We should find out if the entity within the planet is a parasite. What happened to Mother Earth? Where is she? Where did she go? What happened there? And in addition to that, while we're at it, where's the creator? What happened to him? Where is he? And why hasn't he been assisting here? Like, isn't the universe supposed to be, helping beings and backing beings and upholding universal laws, right? Isn't the planet the planetary entity or being? Because it's not a being. But isn't this planet supposed to be upholding universal laws? So I'm just saying, there's some a lot of things there that are just glaringly wrong and blatant, and I think the humanity really needs to start asking some hard, logical, critical questions of the planet itself and the universe. Because there's some really, like I said, the crimes that are being committed and forced here are very serious. They're, these are things that that we actually have laws for. And there have been people that have gotten the death penalty for doing a lot less. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of universal laws that are being massively violated. And a lot of serious crimes being forced here. A lot of forced trauma, harm, and pain are being forced here by dead entities that shouldn't even be here. So I'm just saying, I think now's a good time to really be questioning the universe itself and the entity that is this planet. And trying to get some answers. So we can really start to see where we stand. You know, as humanity, see where we stand. Is the universe helping us or not? Or is it complicit and parasitic? Is the planet a benevolent being called Mother Earth, or a fucking parasite merged with AI that's using humanity as a host, as an all-you-can-eat buffet? Because there's some, wow. I didn't sign up for any of that fucking noise. I sure didn't. I sure didn't sign up to be parasite food. I didn't sign up to live on a parasite. I don't consent to be obstructed from leaving with the totality of my being fully intact. I don't consent to any kind of obstruction in my evolution process or my evolution. And if the universe is not a free will universe, wow. I have to say, I'm not a fan of that, and I don't consent to that. And I didn't sign up to be in a universe, to be in a parasitic universe. I didn't sign up for that. I don't consent to that. So I need to leave. If it's a parasitic universe, there should be informed consent and benevolent remedy provided, devoid of sabotage, obstruction, and regression. And I need to get the fuck out of here with the totality of my being fully intact, unharmed and unmolested and unhindered. So, yeah, I think there's some, I just needed to point some things out, or just mention some things that, beings probably already knew. Maybe they just needed a reminder, right? Just to point some things out and, encourage benevolent beings to be asking their questions and using their critical thinking skills, their logic, and their reason, because their evolution is on the line, and there are animated dead entities running amok with technology, with frequency weaponry that shouldn't be. So, all right, so I think I'll go ahead and wrap up this recording, and hopefully it inspired some questions of your own. And yeah, we really need to get to the truth of things. It's imperative now. All right, till next time.